Welcome to lesson 36 of A Course in Miracles. My holiness envelops everything I see. My holiness envelops everything I see. And this lesson obviously comes from the previous lesson when it talks about our holiness, that we are holy, that our mind is within um, it's in the mind of God. So then the last lesson was, my mind is part of God's. So this lesson again deepens this idea about holiness. Not only are we are in the mind of God, but we actually hold that holiness as well. We are that holiness. So therefore, because with all the previous lessons that we've been looking at, our world, it's an illusion. That's what the Course keeps helping us see, that our world, in our individual world especially, only exists through our own perception, our own individual perception. And that's what we were looking at, that we might have a few people experiencing the same situation, but everybody will experience it in a different way, because it is viewed and experienced through their own perception. So with this lesson, my holiness envelops everything I see. It also, at the moment we're very blessed because science has advanced so much, and now we have the new science, which is the quantum physics. So another way of looking at life, another way of looking at our world. And quantum physics talks a lot about the theory of the observer, that the observer has an impact on whatever is observing. And they did an experiment about particles and observing their behavior. I think it was waves, and it actually affected the way the observers were observing. It affected the experiment. So this once again proved scientifically that when we are observing and when we are judging, we have an effect on what we are observing and judging. So in a way, this lesson, which is a bit tricky, as you can tell, to explain, it's our power of, or the effect, not only our power, but the effect that we have in what we observe. And I like to always take it a little bit further within myself and look at the way I observe my closest relationships. I observe myself, and always when we are observing, go a little bit beyond and look at the judgment that you are observing with. So when we observe something, we're not only just looking without any thinking or any emotional reaction, we are actually adding to what we are observing our perceptions, our beliefs, our thoughts, our emotions, our vibration. So we are having an effect on what we are observing. So this lesson says, my holiness envelops everything I see. And the idea is to be able, like the Course says, to look at our world, and it talks about sinless. So from the eyes of peace and acceptance and love. The Course also talks that we can't, because sometimes it's easier to look at that way our children, and we go, oh my God, I feel so much love for my children. Sometimes, because sometimes we don't, but at specific times, our heart opens and I feel so much love for my children. But then other times I feel so angry with my children, and I see them in a specific way. And the more I see them that way, the more they seem to behave that way. So it's a practice. Remember that this is the Course very kindly is taking us deeper and deeper within ourselves to discover this power that we have, to discover this truth that we are part of everything, that everything that I see in my world is within my mind, that my mind is not just inside my is it crane, my skull, yeah, like uh, a long time ago used to be believed that the mind was inside the brain. Well, now we know that the mind is it's everywhere, that we are bigger than the mind, that if we that we can sense and we can hold memories with our toes, that we can sense and hold memories within our knees, and so this is being studied and experienced, and so our mind expands our physical body, and we hold everything in our mind, but everything is held in a much larger mind, which is the mind of God. So this once again is about not going into a rational mind, although it is okay sometimes to understand it a bit with a rational mind, but just allow this idea to sink in your being and see how this feels really. And like I always say, notice your resistance. Notice the thoughts that come up. So once again, the practices we're very used to now. The practices in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night, a few minutes, and you might close your eyes and just go repeating the exercise today. My holiness envelops everything I see. My holiness envelops everything I see. And just maybe repeat it twice or three times and just see what does that mean, that my holiness envelops everything I see. And just let, surface whatever comes up, doubts, judgments, maybe emotions, and just allowing these words to show you the effect that it has in your beingness. And then you can open your eyes and look around, and my holiness envelops, it says that rug, or my holiness envelops this pen, or my holiness envelops this book. So the idea is that everything that I see is within my mind. So I'm only seeing it because it is within my mind. And science, I think at the moment, is really proving all this, that even this book, the only difference between this book and air is that the molecules in this book are vibrating, I think, faster, or so it feels that it is solid. So there's a lot to discover within ourselves, and that's the invitation. Allow the judgment to surface. Allow the questions that, well, I don't believe any of this. I just allow it all to surface, and just keep trusting that there is more to the story than we know. So enjoy lesson 36, and I'll see you tomorrow for lesson 37.